Just restock, it's not that hard. So I work at this medical lab where we do blood work and samples all day. Each workbench is set up with everything you need for your shift. Tubes, swabs, pipettes, labels, the whole deal. We don't have assigned benches, so it's first come first served every morning. But there's this unwritten rule that if you use up supplies during your shift, you restock them before you leave. Makes perfect sense, right? The way our workflow works, it's way easier to restock at the end of the day when you know what you used, instead of starting your morning scrambling around looking for stuff. Most people get this. We're all adults, we all work here, basic courtesy stuff. But then there's Mal. Every single morning when I'd get to work, I could tell exactly which bench Mal had used the day before. The tube rack would be completely empty. The swab container would have like 2 left. The pipette tips would be gone. And I mean everything would be running on fumes. Not just one thing, but literally every supply would be either empty or down to the last few pieces. It was like she had this special talent for using up just enough of everything to make the next person's day miserable without technically leaving anything completely empty. At first I thought maybe she just forgot sometimes. We all have busy days, stuff happens, so I'd just restock whatever bench I ended up at and move on with my life. But after like 2 weeks of this pattern, I realized it wasn't an accident. Mal was doing this on purpose. So I decided to talk to her about it. I caught her in the break room and was like, "Hey Mal, I noticed the bench you used yesterday was pretty low on supplies. Just wanted to remind you that we're supposed to restock before we leave." And she just looked at me like I was asking her to perform brain surgery. She goes, "The next person should just restock when they get there. It's not that hard." I'm standing there with my coffee thinking, did she seriously just say that? I tried to explain how our workflow is designed, how restocking at the end of the day makes more sense, how it's just common courtesy, but she just shrugged and walked away. The next morning, same thing. Empty tubes, no swabs, everything depleted. This went on for another week before I finally complained to our supervisor. I wasn't trying to get anyone in trouble, but this was affecting everyone's productivity. The supervisor just sent out this super weak email to the whole team saying, "Hey everyone, let's all remember to restock supplies when needed." That was it. No follow-up, no direct conversation with Mal, nothing. And surprise, it didn't work. Mal kept leaving empty benches like she was marking her territory or something. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. I started paying attention to which bench Mal was working at during the day. Then when she'd leave for lunch, I'd make my move. I wouldn't empty anything completely, because that would be too obvious. Instead, I'd remove just enough supplies so she'd run out right in the middle of her work. Like I'd leave exactly 3 tubes when I knew she needed to process 5 samples, or I'd take out half the swabs so she'd run out halfway through her testing. The beauty of it was that she'd have to get up and restock in the middle of her work, which is the most annoying time to do it because you have to stop what you're doing, walk to the supply room, come back, and try to remember where you left off. After a few days of this, Mal started getting really frustrated. She kept muttering under her breath about how the supplies were always running out at the worst times. Then one afternoon she comes over to my bench looking all annoyed. She goes, "I keep running out of everything in the middle of my work. Can I just share your supplies so I don't have to keep getting up?" I looked up from my samples and gave her the biggest smile. "Just restock when you run out. It's not that hard." Her face went completely red and she just walked away. She still doesn't restock perfectly every time, but now she at least leaves enough supplies for the next person to get started. And whenever she starts slacking off again, I just happen to need some extra supplies from whatever bench she's using.